Hi everybody, welcome back to OK Aussie. Dyan, Matt, Max the cat, he's here as well. What are you doing to the camera and why are you doing that? Seriously.
I said when he said we're going to do the video on autism, I said, yes, but the bra's off, the day's over.
That's it. Pants off Friday apparently, but
Next
it's a Wednesday.
I'll have hairy armpits, I'm letting it all
Oh
go.
my god, you're becoming a tree hugger.
Let it all go.
Let it all go, honey.
I'm already a tree hugger, you know that.
I
I come
agree.
from Denmark, Western Australia.
That's down south,
We are
yes.
tree huggers.
Indeed.
I talk
That's
to
where the
trees.
forest meets the sea.
Therapy. It's like, hi tree, how you going? Hanging out?
Hanging out there with your trees.
Yep, your branches are looking
You
good.
and the fairies down south.
I hug trees. Fairies are real.
Fairies are real. Well, that's very important for us to know.
Don't you tell me fairies are not real. That's just not cool.
Now, we are going to be
That'd
talking.
be like saying Jesus isn't real.
No, we're going to be talking something that's very much in the autistic focus for this conversation, and this is about the police. Yep. Who called the fuzz? It's about improving interactions between autistic people and the police, and something which we're going to share with you. It's in the community post as well, with some information and a link. You don't have to be a policeman or a policewoman.
It's from the movie.
Oh, okay.
It's from the movie where the little
Which
girl
one?
goes.
The Heat?
No, it's
With Sandra
Arnold
Bullock.
Schwarzenegger, and this little girl goes, I don't want to be a policeman. I want to be a princess.
Okay, well, that's fair enough. No,
It was a funny movie.
Is that like Daddy Daycare or one of those sort
No,
of things? No,
it was before that, but it was the same
Similar
kind of
vibe?
feel to it. Yes,
Okay.
when our kids
Sounds
were
good.
watching
guess you had to be there.
movies, basically.
Now, before we go into this article,
Funny.
which is actually very interesting, and it's got a good response already through the community page, because it does have a
The
link,
police
and
is
there is
scary.
a 12-page downloadable PDF
I'm
guide. It's
scared
free.
of the police.
It's a guide that should be shared to not only the police, but really all first responders. So fire,
It should.
ambulance, which is
But
our
Australia's
paramedics.
stupid.
And I really think actually the nursing and hospital staff would benefit from it as well,
Good luck.
because they have a lot to learn as well with interacting, communicating, engaging, and dealing with people with autism, particularly in high stress environments, which is what hospitals or in acute care situations are. But this document actually covers more than that. It's covering engagement for police officers or detectives, whether people with autism might be a witness to a situation, they might be being charged with a situation, they might be in a stressful situation where they've had criminal intent put upon them, they might be a victim. So there's a whole range in this scenario that comes into play.
Yeah.
But before we go into that, we've just come off the phone call. I thought we'd give you a bit of a brief update from the NDIS, the National Disability Insurance Scheme. Dyan was, I think, biting at the bit. She was wanting to get involved in that phone call.
Didn't involve myself.
Okay, you did very well to
But
stay
I wanted
calm.
to say, how disgusting is this?
Yeah.
Shame on you people.
Yeah.
Enough now.
Yeah.
We are in crisis.
Yeah. Well, this is on the follow-up of the fact that we've already engaged with the Minister for the NDIS's office. There was complaints put through because of the escalations from this is like a Where's Wally? Where is Dyan's urgent change of circumstances?
From January.
From January of this year. And we're obviously already into spring, into September. There was an escalation, an urgent escalation from the hospital in February. Where is that? That all got lost. A lot of Dyan's records just suddenly, poof, disappeared into the ether.
Oops.
This is what the NDS sometimes has problems and issues with. Then we've had issues with support coordinators, specialist support coordinators who aren't that special sometimes. No, that wasn't much fun as well.
No.
So,
no, she actually did actions that I didn't even approve. She made complaints that I didn't even ask for. She's talking about putting me in a group home, but saying, I'm just giving you your options. And I was like, why would it be an option? I have a home.
Do you know anything
I
about
have
me?
a forever home. I am a mother and grandmother. I have a partner. We live here. That's for single people or young people and people that want to share.
I think there was a breakdown in the communication. I think somehow
It's
she
like,
just didn't grasp.
Where the hell did you get that from?
She was especially...
I know we're new, but like, don't snap at me. You're not my boss.
Well, she used a lot of hours to get to know you and find out information. I read all the reports which she didn't read and didn't get to know you. But anyway,
she didn't even
that's
respond
another story.
to
We got rid of her.
We
True.
didn't even get a response to tell us like all the work she's done to pass
Exactly.
back to us. It's like, did you
So,
do any work?
As of last week, we were we had an email from the complex support needs team under the NDS saying, oh, look, let's get together at 9 o'clock on Monday and have a phone call. You beauty, no worries, we're ready to go.
Sure.
No one rang. I emailed up on an hour later and then 2 hours later because no one had rung. And of course, you can't ring into certain offices.
No,
you don't have direct access to certain departments inside of the NDS. So the SDA, the CSN, you can't actually ring a set number and say, hey, can we talk? So you have to go through other lines of inquiries to have messages passed on. It's pretty bizarre. They do create a lot of extra work internally. But anyway, I'd sent multiple emails. I'd sent emails back to her and to the CSN team and no response.
Want to
Crickets.
Do the job.
Crickets.
It's like pulling teeth.
So anyway, I've sent another follow-up email because it's like the end of Wednesday.
Trying to steal candy for babies.
No one's, well, they should be able to do that easy. Well, they can't even do that properly. So there's been no contact for several days. We need supports. We need a lot of things in place. We need to know what's going on. We need communication. Anyway, it's the government. You all know about that. Now, speaking about the government, I'm really impressed because I received an email from Aspect. Now, they have actually done...
my glasses.
You want your glasses, do you? Okay, she's getting her glasses. Which glasses do you need, honey? Those glasses. That answers the question.
You know.
It's been a day. She has actually had seizures today, and she's actually pulled up incredibly well, considering.
I've been
or
resting.
Have you?
I've been resting and watching a documentary.
Which has been very enthralling for you.
Not really,
Not
actually.
really.
They've pretty much failed. I pretty much know it all.
Yeah.
Because
you
I'm a sleuther, okay? Yeah. I've studied psychology. What do you think I'm going to do laying here?
Yeah, I know, right?
I'm going to be
Criminal Psychology 101.
And then I sometimes share it with you guys. So let me know if you want to know any more psychology shit.
On the criminal psychology side of
even
crime,
even normal psychology, even anything normal psychology, and I'm happy to do videos.
It's one of Dyan's hyper-focused specialist
and
interests.
I don't know where else to put that.
Where else to give that? Well, that's good. So
anyway,
what we're talking today
I
is I received an email from Aspect. They are the Autism Spectrum Australia. They've got actually lots of useful information, and they do a newsletter which drives you back to their website. Now, Aspect have actually put, in conjunction with others, they've put together a really useful downloadable guide, which is called Improving Interactions Between Autistic People and the Police. And we've talked about this because this is actually one of your concerns.
I'm scared of them.
This is actually a realised fear as a person with autism. We have already, we've seen firsthand interactions of autistic or neurodiverse people within and to and between the police. We have also seen and heard in our community, in the autistic community, of interactions that have gone not too well, that have actually led, unfortunately, not to a de-escalation, but an escalation which has terminated in someone's life. And that's not a good outcome by any shape, form or means.
No.
We have a lot of processes in place. We keep in our car, first of all, a lanyard so that if we ever have to engage with the police for a police stop for whatever reason, random breast test or whatever else, that she has got a lanyard with a clearly identifiable label that says, I am autistic. What did you do one day?
A lady was being arrested and I just said, no, she's a lady. Get her off the floor and take the handcuffs off. She's a lady.
You did intervene in a arrest situation.
It felt okay.
Because actually wasn't an appropriate situation.
Wasn't a good thing, guys.
No.
However, I did save a lady and she did get a cops act.
Yes, you actually did save that person.
I didn't intend that. It just happened.
I was dragged into the intervention as well.
I just felt something was wrong and I just went in there.
Yes.
And then he was like, oh no,
what
is she doing? Now I look at it now and say the same. What was I thinking?
What were you thinking?
I wasn't thinking. I was like, injustice.
That's right. You are a justice warrior. And
there's kids screaming. The mother's on the ground. The handcuffs are on. Stop, take them off. Get her up. This is not okay.
That was not an appropriately handled communication by the police in a country town.
Can we please have a chat? What's the problem?
Nor was it de-escalation of the situation, and that police officer was actually sacked from the force after being charged.
He had a bit of an ego, but the younger cop, will give him this. The younger cop was a good dude.
Yep, he was.
And he was like, oh yeah, we kind of done the wrong thing because he was stepping back and he looked a bit shameful.
Right.
But anyway, I shouldn't have stepped in. I'll never do it again.
No.
But basically. It happened.
It does happen. Now,
because I don't have the understanding of situations. Like, And it doesn't mean that I'm wrong. It just means that I don't, as you can hear, I shouldn't have responded that way for my own safety.
Well, actually,
So
no.
basically,
No. 2 points there. I'm going to actually correct that because you and all bystanders should have actually stepped into that situation because there
Okay.
was an inappropriate situation between
It
an
felt real
overreacted police
wrong.
force
I
that
couldn't
was
walk past.
mishandling a situation, even in a simple arrest. We shouldn't have even gone to an arrest
It was
situation.
bad.
So that part was fine. However, for you yourself personally, no, I do not want or request that you do those sort of things because it does put
Not
you at
now.
risk.
I've seen them slam
Because
people to
you
the
could be
ground.
slammed to the ground.
That
You
would
are
hurt me a
vulnerable.
lot.
You could be shot, and I don't want that. And it is a difficult situation. Yes, you have to actually rationalise that.
Yeah, that's not worth it, is it?
So, no, it's not worth it.
That's why I'm scared of
Correct.
them.
And that's why you're going to have this
If
conversation.
they like, seriously, guys, I have developed this phobia because of the increased aggression in our police. And some people might say it's justified, some say it's don't. I don't know and I don't care. But I'll tell you this. When I go outside and there's a cop, I'm scared. I'm like, there's a cop, they're mad.
Now, be mindful,
He's
there are
scaring
many
me.
good people
I'm scared.
wearing the blue,
They
and
look
we've got
mad.
friends and relatives and other connections who have
And
been in the force.
immature.
But just like anywhere, with any job, there's the good, the bad, and sometimes in between the indifferent and the ugly.
Well,
So
they scare me.
that's a risk. We do have on the side of our car window as well stickers that clearly identify, and this is particularly for a case of an emergency. If we were in a crash, any first responder coming to the car can clearly identify that the passenger is a person with autism, might communicate in an inappropriate manner. Dyan has no control, as you've seen, because of the Tourette's and neurological conditions as part of this. That's a risk as well for Dyan.
I just burnt my finger.
You've tried to do that. You've almost bitten your finger off in doing that.
No, I've nearly pierced the skin.
Yes. So let's talk about this. I'm going to read some of the things around this so that you can react. You haven't actually heard all of the information around it.
I'm scared of the thought of a police officer.
Now, on the 25th of August 2025, we explore how misunderstandings between autistic people and the police can escalate into distressing situations. We also introduce a new evidence-based guide designed to promote safer, more respectful and more effective interactions. And this guide is designed to be shared with your local police force. Take it outside of even Australia. It's really good that this year is the year that Australian government has stepped up to actually start to work with better engagements, to do things like this, that actually create a guideline for managing and supporting people with autism in the community, in hospitals, in workplaces, in education. And this is another thing, is an interaction with emergency first responder situations.
Yes.
Now, I'm going to read some of the things into this and get your response. Are you doing okay? Because I know you've had a long day. Good. Scott was out for the day with his carer, enjoying himself, laughing, being a bit silly. He hadn't broken any laws, but he did stand out. Shaved head, short rolls high up, bursts of giggles and the occasional out of context word. These weren't signs of aggression or intoxication. They were just part of who he is, a young autistic man, feeling happy and safe with someone he trusted. But to the police who stopped him, the scene looked different. Without explanation, they pushed him against a wall and handcuffed him. To them, Scott's behaviour was suspicious. To those who knew him, it was perfectly normal.
See, this is what I don't like.
Scott's story is a confronting example of how quickly unfamiliar behaviours can be misinterpreted with serious consequences for autistic people. In recent, I'm going to keep reading on because there's a lot to do with this, but
that happens to me.
This is the realised fear.
Because my meltdowns look different if you look different perspective if you don't know me and my meltdowns.
Yep, and also how to approach, process, manage, or
don't
support
approach,
you
basically.
through
Don't
a meltdown.
approach me.
Okay. Now, there's two aspects.
Self-soothe.
For example, I'm going to give you two case studies about you. In shopping centres, you have irregular behaviours because you are indecisive. You also like to touchy-feely pick things up, look at the bottom, check the price tag,
That's true.
get the sensory feeling. You're indecisive. Sometimes you'll put things in your lap, you'll go back, you come to this one, you'll go to that one, you put this one back.
Oh my God, so I look like a shoplifter.
You look like a shoplifter. So you tend to get store security looking at you, particularly the shop walkers who are sometimes hidden playing clothes.
Yeah, they like me.
And that could
But
lead,
they don't actually.
they could lead to a situation, particularly being a person in a wheelchair, you're also another high targeted individual because as a wheelchair user, you got places to stuff things. Having a bag on the back, you got places to stuff things. Having a dodgy carer like me, You look
He's
guilty.
a dodgy fucker. He's
So-
the problem, isn't he?
Yeah, it's always got to be me.
He's the
It
problem.
could attract the attention, and that could
Ow.
lead to store security calling the police, being
Ah,
held,
not
and
the
being
police,
interviewed.
not the police.
Right, that's one case scenario. Calm down. Slow your breathing down. It does actually cause a real true anxiety and apprehension.
I don't like the police.
Anxiety goes hand in hand with autism. With Dyan's genetic condition, fear and anxiety is actually part of the genetic chromosomal disorder,
It's real.
22q11.2 deletion syndrome.
Yeah.
In another scenario I want to present to you, we have in multiple places where we've lived.
I guess they don't take
Had-
jokes or anything. Is that all out of the picture?
No, a lot of cops actually do very well with jokes. So,
Good. So if I can channel
in
into
good
a joke, I'm
situations. But the problem is your literal humour doesn't sometimes fit. So, like I'm saying, sometimes in disability accommodation, we've been in places where we've had to engage with emergency services. Fire brigade for fire alarms, ambulance when there's obviously been emergencies, but also police when there's been disruptive behaviours by others living around us. We've also seen autistic people literally restrained and taken away in the back of a paddy wagon.
Yes.
In those sort of scenarios. And that's been actually quite frightening for the person dealing with it and those around it.
Yeah.
So these are real world scenarios that you've had to deal with. And again, it adds to that apprehension. When you're seeing a person who might be autistic having a meltdown or neurological condition.
Where we used to live, we were all, there was a lot of us autistics in the one area. And so I was very protective of all of us.
You were very
myself,
protective.
and particularly because a few of them were girls that I got along well with, and they were younger than me. So naturally, I felt more protective as like,
That
you know,
protective
big
mama
sister,
bear.
whatever,
Big
big
sister,
mama
yeah.
bear. I felt protective. And it was really difficult because I don't like the way they were treated by, you know, people, and especially like the police. I just think that, you know, it's just not okay, and I see the risks for them as well as for
risks
me.
for them and for yourself, but it's a high
and it's
stress
not
situation,
okay
isn't
because
it?
the police just shouldn't be the ones dealing with autistics.
No.
In America, they use ambulances. They don't use police because it's a medical problem.
But sometimes,
because it goes over
even in
into
America,
needing a developmental disorder person for behavioural problems.
Okay, so with that scenario, that's in a case where the police might be called to a location where it's known, where they know that that person has got maybe mental health issues or is autistic and needing the support of a CAT team to assist. But as we've seen in America and here in Australia, we've had situations where unfortunately the person with autism may have started off with rage, may have started off with irregular behaviours, not targeted or aimed at anyone specifically, might be just really trying to hold it in and to cope, white knuckling through a meltdown. They may have actually banged against the wall, against the glass of a window. They might be uttering obscenities and quite loudly. I mean, that sort of thing can happen.
What if I had a bad day and had a bad meltdown?
Bad day, yep.
Is that what I deserve by the police?
Of course it's not.
Because of a neurological problem.
And here we go, is why we have exactly this guideline, which is here to educate the police force about autism, about meltdowns, about communication differences.
I'd suffered trauma if I had handcuffs on me, because forever I would be saying in my head that I'm a bad person.
Right, and you're not a bad person. But I understand where you link that in, and you're not the bad person. What's wrong? You're not a bad person, sweetie.
But no one is. Why do they put handcuffs on people?
Okay, well, that is for the protection of the police officers. They don't know when they're stepping into a situation if the person might be under inebriated because of alcohol, under the effect of drugs. They could be a violent person. They could have concealed weapons, so they're just doing things to be safe. That's why we have processes and protocols.
They don't do that with me.
No, they don't. And you're not going to be put into those.
I'm not going to hit them.
No, you're not. But you also have the support surround you. That's why you're supervised 24/7. That's why we have things that are visual, like the lanyard that says, I'm autistic. You have other visual things, such as, not those sunglasses, but other sunglasses, over-ear protectors, your AAC, your Augmented Alternative Communication Device, things that visually see. That's why we've got the national card. In Australia, a new program that says come out is the national card, which is a photo identification card for autistics and those with brain damage, Okay, they
know
mean
me.
you can list down there the things that you might be affected by: sensory overload, loud noises.
There wasn't enough
Okay.
room to explain
There's a few
me.
things that you wanted to explain. Page 2, page 3.
No, they didn't leave enough room. Don't you realise autistics? It's like, you want me to pick 4 sensory problems? Are you serious?
Yes.
I have more than 4.
We had to prioritise, didn't we, sweetie?
We did.
That was sometimes
And I'm like, is there an expanded version that they can go into later?
Now,
if need be.
I think the people on the channel have seen your real concern, the absolute upsetness and the fear.
I do have a genuine
and you're not alone. You're not alone by
of
that. There's a lot in the
police.
autistic community, and there's a lot of parents or partners or caregivers, because we've got neurodiverse children as well. One ADHD, one autistic, who again could be doing behaviours which could attract the negative attention of the police.
And they
Now,
don't deserve
in
it.
the example which I just read through, unfortunately, Scott's experience is far from unique. A study conducted by Aspect Research Centre for Autism Practice, ARCAP, found that 62% of autistic people were dissatisfied with their interactions with police, frequently describing misunderstandings and miscommunications during these encounters. 62%, that's two-thirds. Okay? 2 out of 3 people in their engagements with police are having struggles. Now, I can understand that when there are difficulties.
If they were rude, I'd be like, don't you know that it's rude to act like that?
Mm-hmm.
And then...
do you remember telling a police officer off when you'd been pulled over and our child who was autistic undid the seatbelt and wanted to look at the police lights and sirens?
He was saying in his little gabble and with his dummy to the side, you know, being autistic, he loved his dummies. He'd have 2 in his hand and 1 in his mouth.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, he pushed it to the side and I'd heard this little mumble of police, right?
Yeah.
Because the flashing lights, because in those days they had the speeding cameras. They didn't have like cameras on the side of the road cameras. This is before that. This is like years ago, decades ago.
Decades ago, yep.
My son was 2 then and he's 31. So just to give you an idea.
That was a while ago.
Yeah, 31. So basically, he turned around. You know, he undid his belt because he was 2. And in those days, we didn't have the fancy ones that you guys have where they can't undo it.
Yeah.
If they pressed hard enough, and boys are pretty strong, and he could press it. But anyway, that wasn't a thing he did when we were driving. We'd stopped. I'd literally turned off the car.
Shoulder the road.
Because this young cop wanted to really show his...
swagger.
Yes.
Okay.
Right? And I'm like, yeah, okay. And I was just being, you know, like, right? And I said, well, you know, it is down a hill and around a corner. And guys, I was literally like 5 kilometers over or something like that. So it was petty.
Jesus, that's it. Lock her up.
And it was downhill around a corner.
Yeah.
Not Whifford's Avenue, Marmion Avenue.
Right.
It was where it was 80, but this bit turned into 70 because not the whole of Marmion.
So you've
done
got to change your speed down a hill, around a corner.
you've got to change your speed by 10 kilometres
and you're
back.
5 or 6 kilometres over.
Exactly.
Okay.
So I just,
Did he leap out in front of you?
Yes.
Oh,
he
okay.
said, did you realise you nearly hit me? And I went, but you stood in front of my car.
Driving on the road.
And I'm like, is he all right in the head?
Okay, probably wouldn't have gone down well.
Fucking retarded.
Yeah. He probably should have just flagged you down.
You stood in front of my car, sir.
Expecting the car to stop.
Okay. You trusted me.
That's not a good thing to do.
And I'm driving it as a lethal weapon.
Yeah, especially you driving.
He's looking at me, he's going, yes. I'm going,
so don't do that.
Why did you jump in front of it? He's like, I couldn't make a point. I said, but that's not worth it, is it? I could have hit you.
A
yes, you
argument.
could have. That's my point. I said, yes, that's my point too.
Okay, yep.
And he's just like, oh, he just gave up.
But he then picked on our child.
Oh, and he said, excuse me, young boy. I said, excuse me.
Oh, mother bear.
I'm the mother.
Yeah, don't talk to the 2 or 3-year-olds in the back.
Do not speak to my son.
Mm-hmm.
Sir, do not speak to my son. We are in a car. The keys are turned it off.
Yep, side of the road.
He knows when the car is running.
Handbrake on.
And I will be putting him back in his car seat because he's turning around to look at your lights.
You know?
Your lights are flashing. It's a bit dramatic.
It does garner the attention.
I'm not a
of
big
the young
criminal.
Ones. Okay.
So basically, yeah, I was pretty mad. I was like...
Did he let you off the speeding ticket?
It's all right, honey.
Did he let you off the speeding ticket?
No.
No, okay.
He gave me a speeding ticket for 5 kilometres over.
5 kilometres over.
Oh, I'm such a bad girl.
All right, that's it. Lock you up. Throw away
Lock
the key on
me
this
up,
one.
throw away the key.
However, that is an
Don't
interaction.
speak to my son like that.
But also an understanding that
Come closer.
no,
I'm
that's
gonna
threatening,
sneeze.
and you cannot do that behaviour. But
Well, it was my son.
it shows
He scared my son. My
Okay.
son's autistic. He loves chucks.
and you're autistic, and I'm sure
motorbikes.
your communication style could have been a little bit better
Um,
handled.
police lights.
Yeah.
Fire engine.
Okay, so we've got an example here.
He's a
This
kid.
new autism guide is for the police. It's to support safer and more positive interactions. RCAP, which is the Aspect Research Centre for
I
Autism
don't
Practice,
think I should hang out with the
has
police.
developed Interacting with Autistic People, a guide for Australian police. It's a 12-page guide that offers practical strategies to improve communication, recognise signs of autism, foster respectful, safe and effective engagement, and the topics include about autism, autistic characteristics, what can police do during general encounters, interviewing autistic people, and when autistic people go missing, what to do and what to be aware of. It's an evidence-based or evidence-informed guide that's been well received by police forces across Australia. I really find that good because they've obviously put the time and effort to do the research, to actually do education. Well, of course, everything comes into that. Yeah.
I don't interact with cops much, so
No.
I don't know. You know, like the next time
No.
we will. You know,
But we've also
we
got
don't
a
get speeding
process.
fines. We don't.
No, but we've also got a process where you're not doing that purposely, as in there is a barrier between it because of the risk of you between copulatory and copraxia when you've got Tourette's, when you've got a neurocognitive related issue.
And not realising in the moment that oops.
Yeah. But also understanding your own legal rights.
Sorry, cop, I've got to stroke your ego.
No, but
sorry, you're the.
So in America, they've got their Miranda rights, and those sort of concepts also come into play. Understanding your rights.
In Australia are a little bit different. Like the American cops, and I'm not saying that you guys have all great cops, but they speak respectfully.
Yep.
Our cops, guys, it's a problem. Okay, they power trip, and it's a bit of a problem. And I hope that it changes.
And that's a generalisation. It's not across all of them, but unfortunately, a lot of the time that does come through.
Of course.
Let's be realistic.
But I also want to say in psychology, if you come at someone and be like, right, the person's going to come back at you and go,
yeah, exactly.
That's natural. So if they're going to come at you aggressively or with an attitude, with contempt or whatever, us autistics match that.
Yep.
And we just respond and react. And so that's concerning because I've seen Australian cops just constantly, you know, I just don't think they're for the people anymore. I really don't. I
think we've seen definitely a change, and I wouldn't want to be a cop on the beat at the front line these days.
Every function we go to where they're involved, they're there for the people that have paid them to be at the function to protect the function.
Sure.
They're not really there for you. They're not there to protect the public. They're just bought. They're bought. I'm sorry, but they are.
Okay.
They're there to serve others.
Now, there's a little pull quote coming in this, which is from a member of the Queensland Police Service. So she's a serving member of the police. She's also got a son with autism as well, a 36-year-old son. She said, I found the report well-researched, succinct, and readable, and they're actually important things too. It needs to be concise, it needs to be beneficial,
and it is good.
It needs to give very useful guides of direction.
But we need to see it in action.
Yeah.
That's all I ask is that I want to see this amazing list, which is perfect. I don't disagree with her, but it covers everything too. But they need to practice what they preach.
Correct. And to do that, we need to get this guide out there. That's why we've put it into our community page as well. We're not paid, we're not sponsored.
No,
it's just a community action to create awareness. And that's really what our channel is about. It's always about drawing awareness to whether it's articles or newsletters or information that could maybe benefit others. They suggest sharing the guide, providing the guide to maybe community officers or liaison officers at schools, including the guide in things like Neighbourhood Watch or community safety meetings, mentioning the guides at training sessions or professional forums, circulating the guide through the local community or advocacy groups. And I think it's actually very beneficial because, look, I think there's a lot of challenges, which obviously this guide actually covers about that. There's also some information on the research on the criminal system too. And we actually do find, and I mentioned this in another video that we've done recently, that there's a disproportionate amount of people with autism who are already in the criminal system, just as much as there is also a disproportionate amount of the Indigenous community in Australia also
Yes.
in the criminal system, unfortunately.
Mm.
And that certainly comes true. So I think we need to be
Mm.
very mindful of that. So I've got some interesting links to research studies between obviously interactions between
Interesting.
autistic people and the police, and also improving interactions with the criminal justice system as well. Because I think it'd be a
Yeah.
pretty frightening thing to maybe be a witness to a traumatic event,
Yeah.
to be able to pass on that information clearly and succinctly.
Well,
Whether
it
you're
is
part of jury
because
duty, maybe if you've been called in to do something like that
I've
sort
been
of
called
role.
in twice.
You know, I mean, those sort of things can
Um,
happen as well.
I was pregnant with, like, I was pregnant with the first
Yeah.
jury duty I got called into,
Mm.
and the second jury duty I had some major things, but like maybe I was pregnant with the second then.
Probably good timing
But
both
yeah, I
times.
was like, yeah, probably, because you know why? As soon as you get an education, they don't call you. It's like,
They don't want the smart ones.
you don't want someone that's done psychology, do you?
Yeah, probably you'll be off that list.
That's funny.
I'm just reading some
But
aspects.
when I was stupid
Yeah.
and was attention coded.
So that's what the actual guide looks like. It's a downloadable link that's available. It's 12 pages long. There is a quote about 1 in 40 Australians is autistic. So during your career as a police officer, it is likely that you're going to encounter and work with autistic people. Okay, so that's useful to do that. It does talk about what is autism and police interactions.
Yeah, because they didn't seem helpful when we used to live in our old place. And any of you guys that were following us then,
Yeah.
we were always dealing with the police because of terrible neighbours that were very dangerous. We were very much in danger.
Danger to themselves, first and foremost.
Themselves
danger
and
to
to us.
others around.
And basically, we had the police, we got pulled into it. We had carers knocking our door saying, call the police. We had to help in the situation.
Carers literally were coming to us, please call.
Because you're a male, yeah.
Come and save me, come and protect me. I'm being hit, attacked, assaulted, those sort of things.
But basically, like, that was traumatizing for us. And then when the police come, and you're trying to talk to them, sometimes they're kind of rude, and it's like, no, there's stuff going on here that actually requires you. But I'll tell you this right now, what I don't like about the police is in poor areas, like this setup that where we were living was with people that just don't know how to behave in society.
Yeah.
You know, the police just give up on it. They're like, oh, well, it's just how it is. And it's like, where I live now, if anything happened here, that would not fly for 5 seconds.
So there's a socioeconomic
for
difference.
5 seconds.
Yeah.
And I think that's disgusting.
Yeah.
So
there is a
police,
class system that goes
you need
into
to
that.
stop in class.
Another extract here. While autistic individuals are far more likely to be the victims of crime rather than offenders, some may come into contact with police as suspects. This can be due to the social misunderstandings, rigid rule following, or being manipulated by others. Officers who are trained in autism can help ensure fair treatment, reduce miscommunication, and prevent unnecessary escalation.
From people around you.
So by reading this guide, there's an understanding of autism that can help police officers communicate effectively and minimize misunderstandings, reduce the risk of escalation of situations unnecessarily,
always good,
provide appropriate support when interacting with autistic individuals, and build trust and confidence between police and the autistic community. And that's the part that I'm seeing a bit in your engagements now. You've had a mistrust because of maybe poor engagements, things that you've seen on TV.
So I need to go to my local police station and go, hi guys, got some donuts.
Well, there you go.
Well, it's on the Simpsons,
that love the
isn't
donuts,
it?
wouldn't they?
It's on the TV.
Yes.
Do you like donuts, guys?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that would be a good idea.
I do like the fact that it talks
and
about
then say,
things
I'm
such
really
as
scared of you all.
social communication issues. Language ability varies widely among autistic people, ranging from being non-verbal to highly fluent and articulate. Some autistic people rely on alternative communication methods, including sign language or the use of pictures or symbols or devices like iPads. You even have a yellow card, red card on your lanyard to simply say stop or caution, okay? Even fluent speakers may prefer alternative communication methods, especially when stressed. It talks about eye contact. Because you don't give eye contact, that could look dodgy to a police officer, thinking, "Oh, this person's dodgy."
I didn't even think of that. Right?
Alan Pierce in psychology, body language. There's also literal interpretation.
no. Yeah, 75 in some research, and other research says 95. Who knows?
Yep. Literal interpretation of language. Autistic individuals may take things literally, making it difficult for them to understand figurative language. Small talk. Many autistic people may not follow the neurotypical patterns of casual conversations or greetings.
Dodgy to them. Dodgy.
Interpreting tone and also body language. You don't show normal body language.
I also don't bow down to authority.
No, you don't. And also turn taking in conversation. You struggle with that as an ADHD person particularly.
I'm terrible.
But that also maybe not natural sense when it's their turn to speak. And that means you can also interrupt unintentionally. Not your fault, but it's part of your condition. There's sensory processing difficulties. So you're hypersensitivity or maybe hyposensitive to certain things. Behaviors. Preferences for routine and predictability could affect you. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm sorry, I don't want to talk to a police officer right now. It's time for me to watch The Simpsons or eat my dinner. I've got to have my medication.
I want to go home. I need to have my food that I have at 7 o'clock every night.
Now, you also have strong, intense, hyper-focused interests, and you could be going off in tangents wanting to tell them all about that. They might want to know what colour was the suspect's jacket, or what type of car were they driving.
And I'll be having an episodic memory tangent.
Exactly. And you're saying, well, they should have been driving a Toyota because Toyota cars are better, and probably the Toyota cars will do better if they go over the what are the things that they throw the spikes in front of? Yeah, I know the tangents that you'd go down to. Repetitive movements while you're coping with stress. So you could be doing behaviours which is stimming, which could maybe look a little bit dodgy in the case of a police officer who might think that you're on drugs or on alcohol.
Apparently I'm dodgy because when I go shopping,
so look, I'm not going to go into the whole thing. The link for all of this is available on our community page. Take some time, explore that, download the link.
But you know
if you know a police officer, share it with them. If you know a police station, share it with them.
But you can share this, or you can make this based on, to give it to your formal carers, you can give it to your doctor, you can give it to anyone that you work with that you think, oh, maybe they just need something that helps with autism.
This would be great at the hospital. Reduce sensory overload. Use clear, direct communication. Give extra processing time. Minimize escalation. Avoid misinterpreting behaviours. Haven't been saying that for the last decade to the hospital. In fact, the geneticist said the same thing to the hospital because of your genetic condition. So look, there's a lot of really good, useful, reinforcing information that I think is valuable.
It's a blueprint for anyone that needs
for the boys in blue. There you go.
Any government, any institution, it's like, this is autism. Yeah. No excuses.
So
information.
The Australian government is picking up, and organisations like Aspect are obviously making inroads to actually bring really good, useful data and guides to actually create change.
And they're the ones that will send out free paper
ID
and one
cards.
Free plastic wasn't it?
Yeah.
So
you can identify yourself as autistic.
Card, on the back it has a basic dot list of how people need to speak to you.
Bingo.
So if you've got someone approaching you and you're not like verbal enough, and then you can just turn it around and show them. Yep. Because if you're struggling, it's like, well, that helps them to go, oh, okay, well, let's...
Really useful information. You saw it as being useful. Yes. Now, let's also not reinvent the wheel. If you're in another country, maybe the UK, New Zealand, Canada, the US, wherever, this guide might form the basis for you to have conversations with your own local police force and say, hey, look, the Aussies, us Australians, we've created one of these.
Yeah, that's true.
Maybe there's a useful guide that can help people in other countries as well.
Should I put the link in the description for people to...
I think so. We'll put the link in the description. They can download that or go to our community section because there is a post. I've already put a post out there today already.
There. So go to the post.
Yep. And you can download from there.
Got community posts.
Yep. Or of course, visit aspect.org.au and explore them because they actually are a really good resource for autistics in Australia.
Country, you might look at this and you might go, oh, it's better than what my local area is doing, or something like that.
100%.
Or there's a few extra points you could add into yours, which means you could be part of change in your own area.
Yeah.
So,
and look,
not saying that ours is the best, because yours might be better.
No, and look, if you are having to engage maybe with the police in some sort of shape or form, like I said, you might be a witness to something, you might have had a crime against you and you need to engage. this is the sort of thing that you might want to have a copy of it. You can provide to the police or detectives that are involved so that they're aware. Being upfront, like I said, we use very obvious things apart from star sunglasses. We do have a lanyard that tells Dyan and anyone else who coming in touch with Dyan that she is
I'm just making sure
autistic.
they can ID me.
Yes, I think so. You got
Yes,
stars in your eyes.
that's my ID.
Yeah, you're in the lineup.
See?
That one. Her. She's the guilty one.
They'll go, take your glasses off, please. Oh. All right.
All right, there she is. Peekaboo.
There it is.
Oh, there it is.
But no, I like to be dodgy.
All right. Guys, thank you very much for watching this
I'm
episode.
dodgy.
Big thumbs up of encouragement. So give the video a like. If you've got your own comments, questions, ideas, or suggestions, if you think this resource is useful, let us know below. And don't forget to share not only that resource, but also our channel far and wide so other people, maybe who are neurodiverse, neurospicy, can find us and also engage and interact and find some of these useful things that we talk about and the resources that we share. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe, hit that notification bell, and we will see them.
Because I love you autistics out there.
Yeah.
I hope that everyone's doing well with their autism in every aspect. I hope your job treats you well if you have a job. I hope your family's treating you well for it. I just really, really hope that everyone with autism right now is doing great.
You know what's interesting? I actually would have thought,
yeah,
with the expertise that you have and your studies in autism, your brilliance at pattern matching, which is really above the fold, okay, researching and data information, and your interest in crime scene investigation, that you didn't perhaps take your studies in psychology into criminal psychology. You could have become a crime scene investigation.
Because crime's
or a bit like the Numbers. Have you seen that TV show Numbers?
I love that too. Oh, I love that.
Numbers.
Numbers are
Crunching numbers, patterns.
Numbers are my thing.
Yes, that's the one that works with the FBI.
Oh yeah, but
patterns.
the things he comes up with, it's like absolutely.
Exactly.
Why did no one think of that? And then you're saying to me that I know, but he's the main character of the show with a special power, and I'm like, well, it's not a special power to me because that's just how I think.
That's your everyday, right?
So, guys.
See? There's a positive that comes out of this. And the police force, you could help them.
Call me.
Call her.
Call me.
All right, guys. On that
Call
note,
me.
we're going to love you and leave you. We'll see
Give
you
me a
in another
call.
episode real soon.
I'll do some pattern matching.
Some pattern matching.
Profiling.
Profiling.
Call me.
Call her. Bye, guys.
Bye.
See ya.